The world is changing at lightning speed. We're not just approaching a regional war, but we're also nearing the downfall of major pawns by 2027. Iran has finally decisively won the Strait of Hormuz battle for good, and Trump is experiencing an existential crisis after the Iranian threats, which involved opening battlefronts never seen before in history, from Iran's secret military tactics to the scandal of using sorcerers to spy on world leaders. We have some very important details for you today, but after this break, stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to another installment today, God willing, as part of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to keeping up with the latest developments and updates in this global conflict between Iran and the Epstein Alliance. As expected, of course, President Trump decided to postpone the military strike on Iran and to delay returning to war again, which he was supposed to launch, and that it is postponed today for 2 or 3 days. But what's strange and new this time is that Trump chose a different reason. This time he didn't say the usual things. As was usually the case, that he postponed the military action to give room for diplomatic efforts or to start talks with Iran or something like that. No, not at all this time. Trump said that the reason for the delay is that there are countries in the region like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. They were the ones who asked for patience, not to rush and to postpone returning to war, because they said that reaching an agreement with Iran might be close. So, in reality, the Gulf countries do not want to return to war again, that's a fact, because they know what will happen to them if they go back to war. At the same time, as I explained to you earlier, even America and Trump also does not want to return to war again. He is not able to start this adventure that could lead to disastrous results for him. And as for the Epstein Alliance in general, the important thing is that Trump may have found another reason to cite this time, because it is what made him hesitate to make the decision to return to war. But in reality, the matter is actually because of Iran. They have absolutely no intention of backing down or giving up these legitimate demands, and absolutely no intention of accepting the demands that Trump is making, because these demands touch on issues related to the existence of the Iranian regime, related to the survival of this Iranian regime. So Iran absolutely cannot make concessions today, especially since it fought a war and came out victorious. If it were going to make concessions, it would have done so before the start of this war, not now, after everything that has happened. After achieving these victories on all levels, after sacrificing hundreds or thousands of martyrs, led by the supreme leader Ali Khamenei, who is today honored among us, it is that Iran may have issued new threats this time, because the official spokesperson of the Iranian army stated clearly that if the war returns again, the Iranian army will open new battlefronts. And he said that this will be done with new methods and means of pressure. This means that Iran, throughout this period of the truce that we have experienced, has perhaps been preparing new tactics and means that may surprise the enemies. There was also a statement today from an Iranian military source, and this statement was made to Russian media. What did he say? He said that there are new tactics ready in case of a return to war, and he said that these tactics are based on the Iranian army's defensive and offensive doctrine. He said that Iran is ready in terms of armament and defensive capabilities in almost everything, and there are absolutely no problems at all. I mean, from this side, the side of armament, the army, and so on. The Iranian general Ali Abdullah, commander of the Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters, also issued a warning directed at America and all of America's allies. This warning was, a warning against making another strategic mistake or another miscalculation like what happened in this war. Exactly. there was a major miscalculation. They thought that Iran would collapse within a few days. They believed that Iran would surrender if the supreme leader Ali Khamenei was assassinated, so there was a miscalculation. And this was a very serious strategic mistake, the price of which is being paid today by America, the countries of the region, and Trump. The Iranian general warned America and the rest of the countries in the Epstein alliance against repeating the same mistake. He said that they should know that the Iranian army today is more prepared and stronger than ever before, and that any new attack on Iran will be met with a swift, strong, and decisive response. The Americans have actually tested this. During 40 days of this war, they tested the strength, resilience, and courage of the Iranian army. But this time, the Iranian general said that the response will be much greater than it was before. And these threats are real. We believe them today, considering what we've observed during our monitoring of this war. Iran has always, throughout this war, throughout this conflict, when it threatened and warned, it actually fulfilled and carried out those threats and warnings. So it's clear that this, of course, is what makes Trump angry today, unable to make the decision to return to war, despite all the pressure being put on him by Netanyahu and the Epstein alliance. The American administration does not have highly successful plans. They want a quick operation to settle everything, but this quick operation is impossible, not feasible. Today, against Iran, because there is a decisive Iranian response, and no one can determine how far this response might go, there is the principle of an eye for an eye, and there are these strong Iranian threats that we talked about today and discussed in yesterday's episode. Going back to war will not be a picnic. It will be a new shock for America and the global economy, and also for a group of countries in the region that could possibly disappear from the map. Today, they say in Iran that they have started to seriously consider annexing the UAE to Saudi territory, so that the UAE would become the 14th region according to the Saudi Administrative Division, meaning they are sending messages, a threatening message and a reassuring message, a message of threat to the Epstein alliance in general, and a message of reassurance to Saudi Arabia, that the erasure of these small states will not be through Iran taking control of them, but simply by toppling these regimes, and after that, leaving them for Saudi Arabia to re-annex these territories to Saudi Arabia once again. America now truly cannot return to war again, because it would be a pointless war, and it would be another miscalculation. Perhaps Iran would exploit it again to change the situation in the region. If the change that Iran is imposing now only concerns the Strait of Hormuz, then the change will also include the small states in the region, meaning erasing these small states from the map. Pay close attention. The closer we get to the year 2027, the more complicated things become in the Middle East in this conflict. Today, Iran is fully determined to change the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. The head of the National Security Committee in the Iranian parliament, Ebrahim Azizi, said that the matter of the Strait of Hormuz has now been settled, it has become Iranian, it is under Iranian control, and it is under Iran's administration. He said that it will be a permanent financial resource for Iran and the Iranian people, and that Iran will defend this new situation with all its strength and with full determination, and that it will show no mercy in order to achieve this. So it means that Iran is fully determined on this, and it is moving forward, whether with the parliament or with the countries of the region, moving in this direction. But America and the countries of the region reject this. Of course, they refuse to let this change happen, so things are very complicated. Today, the days are passing quickly. There are only about 6 months left until the beginning of the new year, 2027. Pay close attention. About 3 months have already passed since the start of this conflict, since the beginning of this war, and they passed in the blink of an eye. The tensions are ongoing between one proposal and another. There are days and weeks, and the days are passing quickly. And also, let's not forget that there are the midterm elections in America, which will be about a month before the beginning of 2027. This means that there may be preparations underway for this date, the date of demise, and the demise will not be only for this entity, but perhaps the pawns of this entity will disappear before it. First, what happened in Gaza is truly unimaginable. It means that there must be great things being prepared now in support of the martyrs of Gaza. We are witnessing great transformations, on all levels. Surely the world will witness great events in the year 2027 and in the year 2028 and in the year 2030. And on this note, just as information that everyone should know so that everyone understands how the Epstein Alliance is a global alliance that includes many countries and that this transformation is a global transformation. Perhaps everyone, of course, knows about the corruption case he was involved in. The former head of President Zelensky's office, Andriy Yermak, who was dismissed last November and is now detained in Ukraine, was arrested on charges of corruption. This person, who was Zelensky's right-hand man, the surprise or the major scandal that was revealed only during this past week, during the court sessions and his questioning, exposed another major scandal, and this scandal has spread widely. It turned out, dear viewers, that this person, Zelensky's right-hand man, was using witchcraft and sorcery to spy on world leaders and Zelensky's political opponents in all state affairs and in all internal and external political matters. So it turned out during his questioning that he was bringing top sorcerers from Israel, Georgia, and from Latin America, and he was indulging with them in rituals of witchcraft and sorcery, like incense, collecting water from corpses, making dolls, burying people's photos in graves, and so on, so that demons could be used to spy on state leaders and political opponents and so on, like knowing plans, upcoming appointments, and this is so he could provide this information to Zelensky. For example, there was a widely circulated message that Yermak sent to one of the sorcerers. What did it say? He says, it means that he is ready to do anything as long as this sorcerer helps him, because there are opponents who want to seize power. There are other messages where he asks the sorcerers for spells, so he can recite them over the targeted person exactly when he meets them. He used to consult the sorcerers about almost everything, but of course the sorcerer never truly succeeds. In the end, he was arrested and interrogated, and everything was revealed. This act didn't help him at all, like knowing, for example, that he would be arrested soon so he could escape, prepare himself, or get his spell ready. Maybe he hoped for this kind of scenario, and so on. This also reminds us of the leader of the resistance in Gaza, Yahya al-Sinwar. When they failed, a complete failure, the world's greatest sorcerers failed to find out where he was. They tried again and again without success, even though he wasn't really hiding in those tunnels and so on, until he was assassinated just by coincidence. And in the end, what did they find on him? Did they find a book of devotional prayers? So some people think that these leaders and political figures are smart, educated, practical, and that they don't believe in superstition, witchcraft, magic, and so on. But now things are being exposed openly, starting from Epstein Island to this major scandal in Ukraine. And even more was hidden, of course. The world is witnessing major transformations on all levels, even from this aspect. So today, to stay on topic, the Middle East situation is getting more complicated day by day, and Trump is facing a real dilemma. Reuters news agency reported, quoting Iranian officials, that Iran and the survival of the Iranian regime are based on 3 pillars that Iran can never give up. 3 pillars. They said the Iranian nuclear program, the Iranian missile program, and then the Strait of Hormuz. They said that if even one of these pillars falls, Iran will fall. So it is holding on and standing firm, and it will never give up these pillars. No matter what happens, the conflict is now getting more complicated, and with each passing day, it becomes even more complex. and therefore this brings us closer to November for the upcoming American elections, and after that it brings us closer to the year 2027. What exactly will happen? How will things develop? What will the scenario of demise look like exactly? No one can predict that exactly. We will see, we will monitor the developments episode by episode, day by day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.